Reddit Gaming, Reddit Starcraft, NeoGaf,
all the wonderful folks out there who tune in and give us the support for esports. They're the ones who really make it happen.
Love to see it grow. Love to see it. So I thought third time might be a charm here for Jinro.
Let me see if
yeah,
last
actually.
time he was just, All right, he is on his way down right now. He is, in fact, heading down this way. But, of course, since the camera is not on him, we can actually make up whatever truth we please. He's probably surfing the forums, being like, all right, guys, here I go. I'm in the finals. Wish me luck.
And Team Liquid is very happy, of course, that they are in the finals. They had a phenomenal showing, and maybe, you know, just talking a little bit about that, did have a few placement shifts, you know, in this competition. Some players that you expected to do really well maybe not performed up to their potential, or had some matchups come into play that they just could not get past. All of the great teams that came to participate, you know, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
We're, of course, going to love to see you expand and grow and get ready for 2011, because I'm sure it is going to be bigger and badder and better and more awesome than it could ever be. So I look forward to that.
And it looks like the map is actually going to be Delta Quadrant.
Thank you.
Will be the map for this first one. We talked about Blistering Sands because we thought that that is what it would be, but instead, no, it will be Delta Quadrant, a map that we have seen very little of in this tournament, with, of course, the notable exception of Select against Idra, with that very, very well-executed proxy Makarax play. Now, again, to give credit to the teams out there, we have Team Liquid and Fnatic MSI here in the finals. Our third-place player, Pain User from Lazarus Gaming. Our fourth-place player, Tyler from Team Liquid. Our fifth-place player, The Little One from Team Liquid. Our sixth-place player, EG Machine from Evil Geniuses. And in seventh and eighth, I do not know the results of that, but I do believe that that is Drewby and Rhett. Drewby from Root Gaming and Rhett from Team Liquid. Phenomenal performance by Team Liquid, having 4 of those top 8 slots and potentially the #1 slot coming up.
And, you know, I did actually have Rhett, my Zerg brethren, pick to win this whole thing, but I just want to say, watching him play at DC, really, really excited to see him play, making the switch from Brood War over to Starcraft 2. I felt like he played phenomenally here at this competition. Don't think I've ever seen a Zerg hit 200 as fast as that guy with just about every upgrade you could possibly get. Look forward to seeing Rhett continue, not only internationally, but here abroad in the United States and North American competitions.
Absolutely. I mean, Rhett is one of those players who played Brood War for so many years, and he would stop for 6 months, and the instant he picked it back up, he would skyrocket to the top. In fact, last time he decided to casually pick StarCraft up again. He went to South Korea to compete as a pro gamer on the Eastro Pro team, so very, very strong player, and here he is in StarCraft 2. Like you've been saying multiple times in this tournament, only played for about 3 weeks before DC has had about another 3 weeks leading into Dallas. So if you can beat one of the best players in the world, the most feared player at the tournament, given the interviews that we've seen, in just 6 weeks, I mean, it's really incredible to think what he'll do after winter break.
We also broadcasted several games over the course of the weekend, but remember, it would be humanly impossible to cast every single match out there, and that is why the lovely admins here and the support staff at MLG are putting together the replays for you to check out. Make sure that you are hitting up MLGpro.com throughout the week and throughout the tournament to get those replays of your favorite players, etc., etc.
And they're actually being uploaded really, really fast, especially if you contrast it with all the other tournaments that have gone on over the years. Just stellar organization at MLG. In fact, all the games that I wanted to know the results of, when I got here this morning before we went live, I just watched them on this computer and checked them out. Again, that is why I'm continuing to reference that Jinro against Rhett game. Definitely check those out for a very solid way to open as Terran against Zerg. And it looks like we have one of the players in the game. We have TTOne in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Big cheer for having at least one player in the final. Yes, of course, the crowd ever excited to get this match started, as are we. I mean, you can't see this, but I'm like bobbling my legs up and down. I'm giddy.
He's pretty happy.
Really, I mean, it has been a battle for these players to get here, and I think it may have been the 2 players that were perhaps least expected to be in the grand final.
I think you're right. You know, it's so easy to go with the previous, you know, look at the historical data of who's won Rally and who won DC, and then sort of formulate a top 8 based off of those results. But with more players, with international players joining even more, with a lot of the players that got their first tournament experience at Rally in DC now being much more comfortable with their play in this environment, I don't think that you could sit down and predict anything like what happened here at this competition.
And that's one thing that has been particularly exciting for me, because people still love that stereotype of everyone in Korea is obviously a better player. You know, because that carried over from Brood War, where South Korea were, of course, the champions. But in SC2, we are seeing so many names that have competed at the highest levels in South Korea fall to players right here in North America and players in Europe. So it's really exciting to see esports just exploding, and StarCraft 2 already developing into such a cool game with skill across all servers and levels.
And, you know, even with that point being made, we're seeing a lot of the different strategies, a lot of the things that are becoming discovered, shift from, you know, from the U.S. to Europe, from Asia over to Europe to Europe, and we're seeing all these new styles, new ways, new approaches, things that, you know, even it's amazing that you just can't all figure it out. But of course, StarCraft, just like StarCraft Brood War, it continued to develop over years and years and years, and we are really seeing the exact same thing, like multiplied by a ton here, so early in the life of StarCraft 2.
And you know, I would probably say about once a tournament, there is some strategy or technique that a player uses that makes everybody really rethink the game. And for me, I really think that Pain User's late game transition to the Thors and the Banshees against Protoss, how we clearly saw that Tyler was in an amazingly good position on Kulas Ravine, but suddenly Thors and Banshees and Blue Flame Hellions come out at the 20-minute mark and just dominate. I think a lot of players are going to be relieved to think, oh, I finally get to stop making Marines and Marauders.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Some players are really enjoying that style, too. You know, we sort of saw it begin to develop out. A lot of the Koreans going with these heavy bio-only builds and using, you know, sort of their insane micro and their great timing to win games. And we'll start to see that refined even more as players pick that up and go, how can I make this even better, or how can I make it work more for me? And then it defines a new type of style, etc. Very cool to see.
And one thing that I liked about the Zerg play that we saw at this tournament, I would probably say that right from the early days of StarCraft release, from that July 27th launch date, Zergs were relying very much so on Zerglings with speed to do pretty much everything for them in the early phases of the game. People kind of didn't really like Roaches until later, but my goodness, have we seen Rhett prove that wrong, going Roaches in all matchups, exploding forward with really stupid numbers of Roaches, almost unfair numbers of Roaches. Same with the little one, who managed to take out Huck in this tournament. And of course, Huck has been improving his PVZ dramatically as of late. Seeing that real emphasis of an underused unit was neat.
Yeah, another evolution that we saw here at this competition as it relates to DC is in DC, nearly every Zerg was completely fine with a safe 15 hatch. It wasn't that big of a deal, you know? I'll just do this, I'll be safe. But this competition, think about how many first pools that we saw in order to make sure that nothing crazy was going to happen. I mean, I think that finally the myth has been busted. No, not safe. A lot of things that can be done by all matchups in order to sort of combat that. And we certainly saw it here with no Zergs in the finals.
Indeed, indeed. So I do believe the players are doing the map downvote for this series.
Okay.
Now, a few extra rules for the extended series. You are not allowed to repeat a map in the extended series, even though there will be a few extra games, again, something to differentiate it from the 2 best-of-3s versus 1 best-of-3. So I'm pretty excited to see.
But they still veto only 1 map, right?
Yes, yes. Okay. They don't get any sort of additional veto because there are 9 maps in this map pool. It could go on to 7 maps. Cannot have any maps repeat in those games. So definitely going to be a chance for the players to see a little bit more variety, for the observers to see a little bit more variety as the crowd is continuing to swell here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The area around the main screen where all of the folks are watching here live from the Hilton Anatole at the MLG 2010 National Championships. It's slowly, the wings are starting to spread out and more people are getting in. That's really good.
I know. I am super excited to see Jinro now stepping in. Yes, there he is in his Team Liquid attire. Of course, Team Liquid sponsored by the little app factory.
He had to be crowd surfed to the front, actually.
Like a large beach ball. So we are now going to be introducing our 2 players. It is going to be Liquid Jinro on the right against Fnatic MSI's TTOne on the left. These are your 2 grand finalists, ladies and gentlemen. and they will be duking it out for that top prize of $6,250.
All right, the players are going to their stations. Exciting moment here as we will reach the conclusion. Jinro getting some last-minute stretches in. TTOne very comfortable sitting down. They've already said good luck, have fun.
And now Jinro's going to be burrowing into that sweater, wants to make certain that he is warmed up. I really cannot emphasize enough how cold your hands get at a tournament when the adrenaline starts coursing through your system and